Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 249, another Brexit-free episode. Welcome again to the Business Finance Bulletin. With me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services, the commercial finance expert. In this bulletin, how to avoid invoice scams, government announces initiatives to tackle late payment problem, and 3 high street banks launch shared business banking hubs. Rising number of business owners are falling victim to financial scams, and one such scam is the invoice scam. Now, what is this? Well, the invoice scam is very simple. You receive an invoice supposedly from your supplier, you pay the bill to the bank account listed on the invoice, and lo and behold, later on, the supplier rings up and says, "Where's my money?" You say, "I paid it," and it transpires that the invoice was actually fake, didn't come from your supplier. You are left holding the can, more importantly, still end up owing the money. Well, according to a new survey from Barclays Bank, 14% of businesses said that they have fallen victim to the invoice scam. Of those, 28% of them said they have lost more than £5,000. So you can see it is a big issue for many small businesses. Now, what Barclays Bank have said, well, there's 3 key things that you can do to avoid falling victim. First of all, when you receive an invoice, check to make sure that the bank details haven't changed from the last time you settled that invoice. How can you do that? Very simple. Ring up the firm and just double check if a new bank account has been listed. Just double check to make sure it's correct. One quick tip though, don't ring the telephone number on the invoice. Go back to your other records to make sure that you're actually speaking to the genuine company. Tip number 2, educate your employees around this scam on how to spot fake invoices. And tip number 3, have a process in place to make sure that you can tick off all of the elements of the invoice to double check that it is genuine. So there we are, some quick tips from Barclays Bank on how you can avoid falling victim to the invoice scam. Just be aware there are people out there ready to take your money. Business Finance Bulletin, episode 246. I shared a call from the FSB, or the Federation of Small Businesses, that it was making to the government asking it to tackle the growing problem of late payment. Well, it appears that the Chancellor Philip Hammond has listened. In his spring statement, he's made a number of commitments that the government is going to take in order to tackle this problem. Firstly, in larger firms, they want the audit committees to have responsibility for overseeing late payment practices to make sure it doesn't happen. They also want larger firms to have an NED who has sole responsibilities for monitoring supplier relationships, particularly when it comes to payment. And lastly, they want payment history featured in the firm's annual report. So really making a central core responsibility of businesses to make sure that they pay small businesses on time. The business secretary has been asked to make a further announcement in due course about the detail of how all of this will be implemented. So finally, perhaps we may be beginning to see the end of late payment problems. When it comes to day-to-day banking, one problem many business owners are facing is the fact that they no longer have a branch near them. Over the last couple of years, all of the high street banks have been busy closing branches, particularly in rural and smaller towns. It's a problem for small business owners, particularly when it comes to paying in large volumes of cash and cheques. Well, Barclays, Lloyds and NatWest have announced a pilot launch of something called the Business Banking Hub. It's designed as a co-sharing space where those 3 banks will get together and share one premises. The pilot has just been launched in a Perry Bar in Birmingham, and they are going to be launching 5 more pilot sites to see how it goes. Now, at this stage, it's only available on an invitation-only basis for large businesses that have large volumes of cash and cheques to pay in. The branches, they'll be open 7 days a week from 8 in the morning until 8 in the evening. So it's an interesting concept about sharing space together, and let's hope it works, because it really will be a lifeline for many business owners. Well, that's it for another bulletin. As ever, I hope you enjoyed watching, and if you did, please don't forget to give it a like and a share. It all helps. So that's it until next time. In the meantime, have a great, successful and profitable week.